Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Just Law on IQRA TV. I'm your host Ilyas Bulbulia and I'll be with you for the next hour. As our regular viewers are aware, on Just Law we normally discuss an area of law which is of interest to you, our viewers. And secondly, more importantly, Just Law is a live show. So whatever questions you have on any aspect of English law, please feel free to call in on the number that will appear at the bottom of the screen, and hopefully I should be able to give you some guidance in relation to the queries that you have. Now, on this show, hopefully I should be able to deal with most aspects of English law. We get a number of queries on immigration law, which is fantastic. But even if your queries relate to other aspects of the law, please feel free to ring in. Just a couple of minor points before we get going. Obviously, on a live show, I'm not able to take very detailed information from you. If it transpires that I need to speak to you off air to take that more detailed information, then I will make arrangements to speak to you off air. Secondly, if I need to look at documents before I can advise you, again, I will make arrangements to look at your documents and then advise you off air. But in my experience, the vast majority of questions that are put to us, I should be able to deal with those live on air. So whatever questions you have on any aspect of the law, whether it's immigration matters or any other matters, please feel free to pick up the phone and give me a ring. Now, over the last few weeks, we have looked at spouse applications because after the break we had for Ramadan, we've started our topics off again. And over the last few weeks, we've looked at spouse applications. We looked at the sort of general outline of how a successful immigration spouse application is made. Then last week, I looked at European immigration applications, and we looked at how somebody who's a European national can call their family over to the United Kingdom on the basis that they are their partners. So we've looked at that. Let's take our first call and we'll come back to this. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam and good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, sir, I have a question. I have applied for my brother-in-law. Actually, I asked this question before from you. Now I am going to the process of next step.
Okay.
The thing is, we applied for our brother-in-law for visit visa, family visit visa.
Okay.
Home office first refused. Then we put our pre-action protocol, and Home Office replied that okay, we accept there was some material errors. After that, we are waiting for their next decision because they said in that letter that we will give you another decision.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
My question is, because the first refused, the application was refused on 2nd of May.
Yeah.
From that, the 90 days will be on 2nd of August.
Yeah. Okay.
Meanwhile, we are waiting for the decision from the Home Office.
Okay.
My worry is, if they don't reply before the 2nd of August, what should be our next step?
Okay.
Because, if we expire that limit, then we will not be able to apply for the permission. And the second question is, if in next couple of days, like before 2nd of August, can we apply permission from the judicial review? And it's online, and we can do it by our own, or we need to go to the solicitor.
Okay. All right. Just on the first point, because they have indicated to you that they will look at this matter again, you might be better off just waiting to see when they look at the decision again. Now, if you're very concerned that the time limit is expiring, then yes, you're right. There is a 3-month time limit. And a decision that's made on the 2nd of May 2019. If you want to make an application for judicial review against that decision, there is a 3-month time limit. You'd have to do it by the 2nd of August 2019. Personally, my view is not to make a judicial review application. I say that simply because to me it looks like you might end up just wasting money. They have already indicated to you that they will look at their previous decision again. So they've already accepted that there is a mistake in that. So they've already said they will look at it again. They will therefore look at the matter again. I have no doubt. Now, after they've looked at this matter again, obviously there's no guarantee that you will have a decision in your favor. But at the very least, they will if they have said they will look at the matter again, they will make another fresh decision. So my view would be, in view of the fact that they have already said to you in response to your pre-action protocol letter that they will look at the matter again, to wait. I wouldn't, if I was you, and I understand that the time limit is coming up, I wouldn't necessarily make an application for judicial review. Now, let's say you do want to make an application for judicial review. Normally judicial review applications are drafted, are put together by lawyers because they are slightly more complex than normal immigration applications. Now, let's say you do want to proceed with the judicial review application. Personally, my concern is if you spend money on a lawyer getting the judicial review application together, the Home Office will come back to you and say, look, we told you before that we will look at this matter again. You've simply put in a judicial review application again. They may not pay your costs that you've incurred for in relation to instructing a lawyer and putting the application together. You might end up wasting money. That's my only concern. A lawyer might charge you £500-600, plus there's a court tribunal fee of about £140. You might be down by £700-800. You may not be able to recover that. That's my only concern, because the Home Office will turn around and said, in response to your pre-action protocol letter, we told you we'd look at it again. Why are you submitting a judicial review application? So my concern is, fair enough, there is a 3-month time limit. You can put your judicial review application in, but the end result may be the same, that they will say to you, we will look at it again within 3 months, but we will not pay the legal costs that you've incurred in submitting the judicial review application, because we already told you previously we will look at this again. You should have waited. In essence, what I'm saying is, if they've said to you, we will look at it again, you might be better off just pushing them to look at this matter again. If they don't seem to be looking at the matter again, get your MP involved and get your MP to push them to make a fresh decision. Practically, that may well be the best thing for you to do. Having said all this, when they say we will review the matter and look at this matter again, it doesn't mean that it's I think you can be slightly optimistic, they're looking at it again, but even then there's no guarantee that the decision will be in your favour. In my case, there's a lot of cases where they have looked at it again, they have made decisions in the applicant's favour, but there can't be a guarantee of that. Now, hopefully that answers your questions. If it's unclear, please feel free to pick up the phone, come back to me, and then I can look at this with you in greater detail. Okay, just going back to what we were discussing before we took the call. Over the last few weeks, we've looked at spouse applications, we've looked at European spouse applications. What I want to do today is really focus on one of the main problem areas with spouse applications, which is to do with the financial requirement, and really look at how can this financial requirement be met? How much do you need to earn? What documents do you need to demonstrate? How can this requirement be met? And in particular, what I want to do today is not to look at the simple route where somebody is sponsoring their husband or wife to come over from abroad, whether it's India, Pakistan, and they are relying simply on their employment. That's the simplest of spouse applications. Don't particularly want to look at that today because we've done that on previous shows. What I want to do today is look at the slightly more complex cases where the application is being made on the basis that the sponsor is self-employed, and the kind of documents that need to be submitted where the sponsor is self-employed. It's more difficult, the requirements are more onerous, but in practice you do come across it quite often. So let's look at that today. But despite that, although we're looking at spouse applications and the immigration rules relating to non-standard applications, in particular where the sponsor is self-employed, if your questions relate to other matters, please feel free to pick up the phone and give me a ring. Now, self-employed cases are not that uncommon. In practice, lawyers who deal with this will come across situations where the sponsor is self-employed. They're running their own business in the United Kingdom and they want to sponsor their husband or wife to come to the United Kingdom. Cases are more complex and you need to be careful in terms of how you approach these applications. The more common self-employed application that you come across where the sponsor is self-employed may well be that the sponsor maybe is working as a taxi driver, maybe operating a small business, whether it's a takeaway, a small shop selling mobile phones. You come across generally a lot of sponsors in the United Kingdom who run smaller businesses and they want to sponsor their partner to come from abroad to the United Kingdom. Starting point here and what you need to bear in mind is that these are people, these are sponsors in the United Kingdom who aren't operating through a limited company, because limited companies are completely different, and in terms of documentary evidence the requirements for that is completely different. Here we're looking at quite a simple operation where somebody is self-employed and they may be self-employed as a sole trader where it's their business on their own, or in a slightly larger business they are self-employed but they are a partner in that business. For example, a taxi driver would normally be self-employed as a sole trader. Their business is simply to operate a taxi service on their own. Whereas contrast that with somebody who owns a small business selling mobile phones and accessories. It may be that they've got another partner in that business. So, a sponsor who is sponsoring their partner on a self-employed basis could be a sole trader, could be a partner. And again, the rules which govern both of those different scenarios are slightly different. In practice, you do come across this quite often. The simplest of self-employed sponsor applications are where they are simply working as a sole trader. Now the starting point is, what is the financial requirement for those individuals? Well, generally speaking, the financial requirement is that the sponsor must be earning 18,600 per annum. So in one sense, it's very similar to what a normal employed person needs to be earning per year. They need to be earning 18,600. Somebody who's self-employed, sole trader, again needs to be earning 18,600. So the amount of money that they need to be earning is very similar. The problem or the difference with these applications is really how this income which is earned, how it is demonstrated in terms of documentary evidence. So that's really the difference, and that's really what complicates matters. So let's look at what the immigration rules are where the sponsor is self-employed as a sole trader. So we've dealt with the fact that the sponsor who is a sole trader needs to be earning 18,600. That's straightforward. Over what period? Is it last 12 months? Is it the last 6 months? Which 12 months are we talking about? So that's the next thing that we need to look at. If it's the 18,600 requirement which applies, when do they need to be earning that? Now, the rules are reasonably simple when it comes to sole traders, that they need to earn that money over the normal financial year, which for us would be April to April, 5th of April to the following year when the financial year comes to an end. So it's not the case that somebody needs to be earning 18,600 in the last 6 months or 12 months. We are obviously in July at the moment, July 2019. If you were relying on the last 6 months, you'd look at your income from January, February to now. If you were relying on the last 12 months, you would potentially look at July to now. But that's not the period over which the income is assessed. So you should, unlike normal employment applications, you should bear in mind that you don't look at the last 6 months or the last 12 months. What you look at is the earnings during the last financial period for that business. So one is you have to be earning 18,600. The other is that amount of money has to be earned during the last financial period for the business, which for a sole trader would be April to April. So somebody who, let's say, is working as a taxi driver, who wants to apply for their partner to come to the United Kingdom, they would be looking at their income from April 2018 to April 2019. So that's the financial year that you need to be looking at. And the documents that need to be submitted in support of the application has to cover that year. April to somebody making an application now would have to cover April 2018 to April 2019. So what kind of documents does one need to submit where one is a sole trader, such as a taxi driver or running a small business and they want to sponsor their partner? Well, there's a whole host of documents that need to be submitted, which are significantly different from normal employment applications. Let me run through very quickly what those documents are, then we can look at those in greater detail. So what do the immigration rules say? Typically, the immigration rules say that you need to submit your financial accounts. You need to submit your tax return. You need to submit your SA302. You need to submit your business bank statements if you have them. You need to submit your personal bank statements. Again, you need to submit a document which confirms what your UTR number is. If you're a partner in the business, you need to confirm what your partner's UTR number is. You need to also confirm that you are still operating that business as before. So there's about 4 or 5 key documents that need to be submitted. And if you think about it, these are the documents which all confirm one way or another what the earnings are of this individual who is in the United Kingdom wanting to sponsor their husband or wife to come over. These documents give the Home Office an insight into what your real earnings are. So instead of somebody just saying, look, you know what, here are my last 3 months or last 6 months bank statements. I have started in self-employment as a taxi driver. Here's my letter from the accountant, and look, I'm earning £20,000 a year. Instead of the Home Office looking at that and just an assertion made by an individual, what the Home Office is doing is asking sponsors to submit a whole host of documents which gives them a bit better insight into what this person actually is doing, what this person is actually earning, and they have a greater ability to work out where the sponsor claims to be earning a certain amount of money, whether that is accurate or not. So that's where the Home Office is coming from. That's why the immigration rules are designed the way they are, for the Home Office to collect all the key documents and then look at what somebody is saying in terms of earnings to see whether that is correct or not. So typically, the first initial documents, if we break them down, are HMRC documents. So if you are self-employed as a sole trader, you first of all will be required to get your accounts prepared by an accountant. And it's not just any accountant who will be preparing the accounts, it has to be somebody who's regulated. So normally it would be a chartered accountant, chartered certified accountant. So somebody who's regulated has to prepare the account. So I'll look at that in greater detail. But if you look at where the Home Office is coming from, they're getting the accountant essentially to confirm what the profits of the business are. So that's one source of confirmation of earnings. The second documents, if you move on, are really HMRC documents. Your tax return, like your SA 302, which is the document you get after the accountant submits the tax return. So the second source of verification that the Home Office is getting is from your tax documents from HMRC. What are you saying to the HMRC? What kind of taxes are you paying? So this is the second source from which they can see whether what you are claiming in terms of your self-employed income is accurate or not. Thirdly, they're asking for you to submit your bank statements, business and personal bank statements. So they are checking to see that if you're now claiming that you've made this kind of money, let's see whether it's backed up by the documentary evidence that you've submitted in terms of bank statements. How much money were you putting into your bank account, whether it's a business account or a personal account? How much is going in? Does it match with the claimed turnover? Is it in line with the claimed net profits? Now, the Home Office, obviously, they're not accountants. They can't do a full audit of how well your business is doing. That's impossible for the Home Office for it to do. But it does mean that they can see from a number of different sources what your income is. We'll look at this after we've taken our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
जी वालेकुम सलाम जी।
हाँ, मैंने ये पूछना था, मेरे हस्बैंड आए हुए स्पाउस वीजे पे।
जी ठीक है।
तो अभी वो आए थे, जैसे 2 साल हुए उन्हें आए हुए, तो उनकी एज जो है वो 65 हो गई है।
जी, ओके।
तो क्या मैं उनका वीजा चेंज करके इंडेफिनिट स्टे के लिए अप्लाई कर सकती हूँ, या मुझे कंटिन्यूसली 5 साल में ही जाना पड़ेगा?
जी, तो अभी जो वीज़ा दिया है ना आपका हस्बैंड को, वो 5 साल वाली वीज़ा है, हस्बैंड को जो दिया है।
या 3 साल का पहले दिया है ना,
2.5 years का। जी 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 ठीक है। असल में इसमें क्या है कि एज से कोई डिफरेंस नहीं बनता, सिर्फ एक ही डिफरेंस है एज में। सिर्फ ये है कि उसको जो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है ना, कि उसको लैंग्वेज का टेस्ट पास करना पड़ेगा, वो उसको करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी। मगर इसके अलावा और जो रूल्स है वो सब सेम है, कि उसको जो 5 years कंप्लीट करने हैं उसको 5 years कंप्लीट करने पड़ेंगे। सिर्फ उसको इंग्लिश का जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो नहीं करना पड़ेगा।
हाँ, मगर कुछ लोग कहते हैं ना कि जैसे 65 एज हो जाए तो वो इंडेफिनिट दे देते हैं।
नहीं, वो बिल्कुल नहीं देते। वो उसका जो रेजिडेंस रिक्वायरमेंट है ना, कि 2.5 years की पहले वीज़ा देंगे, आप एक्सटेंड करेंगे, फिर 2.5 years की वीज़ा देंगे, और जब 5 years हस्बैंड का कंप्लीट हो जाएंगे यूके में, तो हाँ वो टाइम पे वो इंडेफिनिट के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हैं। थोड़ी सी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज और जो
इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज की तो उन्हें प्रॉब्लम नहीं, उन्होंने पहले भी पास कर
पहले भी करे जी। मगर वहाँ सिर्फ एज से वहाँ ही थोड़ी सी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है, लाइफ इन द यूके एंड इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज। उसके अलावा और कोई फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी नहीं है एज से।
चलो ठीक, ओके,
नो प्रॉब्लम। ओके जी, खुदा हाफिज़। थैंक यू आपका कॉल का। विल टेक आवर नेक्स्ट कॉल। हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम रहमतुल्लाह।
जी भाई जी, थैंक यू फॉर कॉलिंग। जी भाई आपका।
हेलो
जी हेलो जी भाई।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
जी वालेकुम सलाम।
अच्छा, मुझे पूछना ये था कि अभी जो ये वीज़ा है, बिजनेस वीज़ा, 50,000 इन्वेस्टमेंट पे
जी,
तो उसमें क्या प्रोसीजर है उनका, और अगर वो अप्लाई करें तो उनकी क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है
जी,
और
जी ठीक है,
किस तरह हम अप्लाई कर सकते हैं?
इसमें है ना बेसिकली 2 टाइप्स ऑफ वीज़ा है, एक तो स्टार्टअप वीज़ा और फिर इनोवेटिव वीज़ा।
स्टार्टअप वीज़ा,
हाँ, स्टार्टअप में आई थिंक बिल्कुल कोई पैसे बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो इनोवेटिव में 50,000 बताने की ज़रूरत है। मगर एक देयर इज वन फंडामेंटल प्रॉब्लम इसमें ये है कि आपका जो बिजनेस प्लान होता है ना, द बिजनेस प्लान जो है वो उसको अप्रूव कराना पड़ता है फ्रॉम एन एक्सटर्नल बॉडी। दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम कि इफ यू रिमेंबर जो द एंटरप्रेन्योर वीज़ा जो थी, इसमें 200,000 पाउंड्स की रिक्वायरमेंट थी, और वो होम ऑफिस वो बिजनेस प्लान को चेक करके ये कहते थे कि यस दिस इज़ अ वायबल बिजनेस एंड यू कैन कंटिन्यू। तो ये जो वायबिलिटी ऑफ द बिजनेस वेदर इज एक्सेप्टेबल और नॉट, तो व्हाट द होम ऑफिस हैज डन, होम ऑफिस ने कहा कि वो हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, आप एक्सटर्नल बॉडी के पास उसको वेरीफाई कराओ। दिस इज वेयर द प्रॉब्लम इज, जो एक्सटर्नल बॉडी है ना, it's only a limited number of bodies can verify the business. There's about 30 external bodies who can verify the proposed business. Problem ये है कि ये जो bodies है ना, they won't verify smaller businesses. This is the problem. वो normally क्या है कि what they want is high tech businesses, some big IT business, you know, developing apps, or some kind of science type business. They want some innovative, some big scale business.
Right. What about jewelry and gold stuff?
नहीं करेंगे. They won't do it. At the moment, this is the biggest problem. के वो जो bodies है that can approve the proposed business, वो जो bodies है ना उसके criteria ऐसी है कि these type of businesses वो approve ही नहीं करेंगे. So ये dead end हो गया. So on the one hand ऐसा लगता है कि वो fantastic, ये जो startup visa आई, innovator visa आई, 50,000 की requirement है, fantastic. You know, UK is open for business. जब ये visa शुरू हुई थी, तो a lot of clips were going around India and Pakistan कि look, these are the new visas that you can apply for. but उसके reality क्या है? ये reality is के they've stopped business visas. So unfortunately, it just doesn't work. It's very unfortunate. But नहीं है. It's the bodies that authorize these businesses, they will simply not authorize the business. So unless the rules are changed, we can't do anything at the moment. Ji, thank you for calling. Ji, hello, assalamu alaikum. We'll take our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
अस्सलाम
जी वालेकुम सलाम जी भाई, थैंक यू फॉर कॉलिंग. जी भाई, आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है?
मुझे ये पूछना है कि हमें होम ऑफिस की तरफ से एक लेटर आया कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट भेज दें, तो हमने साथ भेजा, रिटर्न लेबल साथ नहीं है, तो क्या करें?
अब भाई साहब, आपका आवाज़ क्लियरली नहीं आ रहा है. अब जो टेलीविज़न है ना, वहाँ से थोड़े से मूव हो जाओ और रिसेप्शन जहाँ बेहतर है वहाँ से थोड़े से बात करो. सो भाई, दोबारा क्वेश्चन पूछो, आपका क्या था?
जी, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हमें होम ऑफिस कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट उनको रिक्वायर्ड हैं, तो वो है कि हम आपको लेबल भेज रहे हैं, वो लेबल उस डॉक्यूमेंट के ऊपर लगा के साथ भेजें. तो वो लेबल तो हमें मिला ही नहीं उस लेटर के साथ, तो अब क्या करें?
ऑलराइट, ओके. वो आपकी जो डेडलाइन है, कब तक आपको रिप्लाई करना है?
वो विद इन 14 डेज में करना है. वो हमें फर्स्ट उन्होंने लिखा था लेटर.
ओके. और आपको उसने कोई ईमेल एड्रेस दिया है जहाँ स्कैन करके भेज सकते हैं?
नहीं, कोई नहीं दिया.
वो स्कैन की ऑप्शन भी नहीं दी. आप ऐसे करो, उसको अभी जल्दी से कागज़ लिख दो कि आप हमको लेबल भेजें कि हम आपको डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज सके. अगर उसका रिप्लाई नहीं आए तो फिर आप स्पेशल डिलीवरी में उसको डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज दो. मगर आप ऐसे करो कि जहाँ से लेटर आया है ना, वहाँ भेजो आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स. सो स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ये है,
लेटर के ऊपर शेफील्ड का एड्रेस लिखा है.
वो शेफील्ड का ही होगा. इसमें होगा कि PO Box 3468 शेफील्ड S38AW, ऐसा कुछ होता है. अगर उसका जवाब नहीं आए तो यू हैव टू मेक श्योर कि आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज देना टाइम पे. मे बी 1 to 2 days बिफोर स्पेशल डिलीवरी उसको वो शेफील्ड के एड्रेस पे भेज दो. क्योंकि वैसे भी है ना, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. वो शेफील्ड का जो वहाँ है ना, वो अगर आप आपके रेफरेंस नंबर सब कुछ प्रॉपर लिखेंगे ना, तो वो आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स केस वर्कर को पहुंचा देंगे एनीवे. सो स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट, लेटर लिखो, आस्क फॉर द लेबल. अगर लेबल ना भेजे तो आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज दो 2 days बिफोर द एक्सपायरी डेट, स्पेशल डिलीवरी. और मेक श्योर कि आपका जो एनवलप है ना, एनवलप पे भी ऊपर टॉप राइट हैंड कॉर्नर कोई जगह पे आपका जो रेफरेंस नंबर है वो भी लिख दो. इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, वो केस वर्कर को पहुंच जाएंगे. मगर वो डेडलाइन मिस नहीं करना, आपको डेडलाइन से पहले कुछ करना.
क्योंकि वो लेबल दिया नहीं, तो इसलिए हम लोग कंफ्यूज हो गए कि किधर भेजें आप वो लेबल का.
वो समटाइम्स लेबल मिस हो जाते हैं. मगर जनरली अगर वो लेटर शेफील्ड से आया है ना, तो उसका केस वर्कर भी शेफील्ड में ही होगा. जनरली स्पीकिंग वही है. अगर नहीं है तो वो उसको केस वर्कर को पहुंचा देंगे. स्पेशल डिलीवरी भेजो, आपके एनवलप पर रेफरेंस नंबर भी लिख दो, एंड ट्राई एंड सेंड इट 2 days बिफोर, कि वो केस वर्कर को इन टाइम मिल जाए.
अच्छा, नीचे जो उन्होंने साइन किया है, फॉर एग्जांपल लिखा है उसमें, तो दैट्स द आवर केस वर्कर.
जनरली स्पीक, वो नाम भी लिख देना. जनरली दैट इज नॉर्मली द केस वर्कर. यप. मगर ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है कि आपका जो रेफरेंस नंबर है ना, यू मस्ट इंक्लूड दैट.
reference number, case number, both I can write it
on the envelope
and covering letter.
जी both में because what they normally do is कि वो जो कहते हैं ना कि वो लेबल भेजना चाहिए तो वो लेबल पे two things होता है एक तो आपका केस वर्क का रेफरेंस नंबर होता है और एक डेट होती है उस पर यू डोंट नीड टू वरी अबाउट द डेट मगर रेफरेंस नंबर आप लिख देना तो जल्दी से मिल जाएगा केस वर्कर को जी भाई थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर दैट विल टेक आवर नेक्स्ट कॉल हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम
वालेकुम सलाम इलियास भाई કેમ છો તબિયત સારી છે
અલ્હમ્દુલિલ્લાહ છે તમારી તબિયત સારી છે જી
અલ્હમ્દુલિલ્લાહ
જી
યસ ભાઈ મારે એક સવાલ હતો
જી જી
મારો ભાઈ ઇન્ડિયન અંદરમાં હાફિઝ કુરાન એટલે પઢતો છે
જી ઠીક છે
મદ્રસામાં
જી
તો એને અહીંયા પઢવા માટે બોલાવવું હોય તો બોલાવી શકો ખરો
હા
લાઈક સ્ટુડન્ટ વિઝા
પર તો ભાઈની એજ શું છે હમણાં
એની 22
હા તો બિલકુલ બોલાવી શકે પણ એમાં શું છે કે સ્ટુડન્ટની વિઝા આપણે જે એવો મદ્રેસો જોઈએ જે લોકો પાસે સ્ટુડન્ટ એ લોકો બોલાવી શકે સો ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ આપણા જે લલ્લા મદ્રેસા હોય તે લોકો પાસે તો સ્પોન્સર લાઇસન્સ નહીં હોય તો એના પર તો નહીં બોલાવાય પણ મોટા જે મદ્રેસા હોય જેવી રીતે દારુલ ઉલૂમ હોય મોટા મદ્રેસા તો જનરલી એ લોકો પાસે સ્પોન્સર લાઇસન્સ હોય તો જેવી રીતે કોલેજ એન્ડ યુનિવર્સિટી બોલાવી શકે તો એવી રીતે મદ્રેસા બી વિથ અ સ્પોન્સર લાઇસન્સ જે લોકો પાસે સ્ટુડન્ટનું સ્પોન્સર લાઇસન્સ હોય તો એ લોકો બી બોલાવી શકતા હોય તો બિલકુલ બોલાવી શકે એ લોકો સ્પોન્સર કરે તે સ્ટુડન્ટને ને પેરેન્ટ્સને સેવિંગ્સ બતાવવું પડે કે ઇનફ સેવિંગ્સ એ ખર્ચા કરવા હારું એ પૂરાના પણ બિલકુલ બોલાવી શકે જી
ઓકે અને બીજો એક સવાલ હતો તે મારો ભાઈ બીજો મોટો ભાઈ છે સાઉથ આફ્રિકામાં છે
જી જી
તે રીતે પઢાવે ને બધું કરતો છે ઇમામત ને બધું જ કરાવે છે
જી જી
ઓકે એમાં અહીંયા કોઈ મદ્રેસામાં પઢાવવા માટે આવવું હોય તો
જી એ બી કરાય ઇઝીમાં ઇઝી હોય કે અગર ઇમામત કરવા આવતા હોય જેને એ લોકો કહે કે મિનિસ્ટર ઓફ રિલિજન તો એના હારું એક કેટેગરી એ લોકોએ બનાવેલી છે એમાં જે તે વર્ક પરમિટ પર આવે ને તો મિનિસ્ટર ઓફ રિલિજનની બી એક વર્ક પરમિટ હોય જે મસ્જિદ મદ્રેસાની મસ્જિદ એને બોલાવી શકે એઝ અ મિનિસ્ટર ઓફ રિલિજન સો એક વસ્તુ ટી હોય યા તો પછી મદ્રેસામાં એઝ અ ટીચર તે બી બોલાવી શકે સો એ બંને ઓપ્શન્સ ઓપન હોય એમાં ખાલી એક ઇશ્યુ હોય આઈ થિંક સાઉથ આફ્રિકામાં તો પ્રોબ્લેમ નહીં મળે ઇન્ડિયા પાકિસ્તાન બાંગ્લાદેશનો પ્રોબ્લેમ શું છે કે મરસાબ લોકોને ઇંગ્લિશ પ્રોપર આવડતું નહીં હોય તો એનું ઇંગ્લિશ લેવલ ક્વાઇટ હાઈ હોય B1 या B2 હોય સાઉથ આફ્રિકા ઓબ્વિયસલી વहाँ
અલ્હમ્દુલિલ્લાહ બેન બી કરે ઇંગ્લિશમાં
હા તો ફોર ધેમ ઇઝ નો પ્રોબ્લેમ આપણો પ્રોબ્લેમ છે ને ઇન્ડિયા પાકિસ્તાન બાંગ્લાદેશનો પ્રોબ્લેમ એ છે કે એ લોકો એ મતલબ ઇંગ્લિશ નહીં બોલી શકતા હોય તો એ લોકોને મિનિસ્ટર ઓફ રિલિજન પર આપણે બોલાવવાનું હાર્ડ હોય પણ ઇંગ્લિશ આવડતું હોય તો બિલકુલ મસ્જિદ મદ્રેસા બોલાવી શકે એ લોકોને વર્ક પરમિટ ટાઈપ રૂટ હોય જે બોલાવી શકે
એમાં કઈ ઇન્કમ બતાવી ખરી મારે
એમાં એ લોકોને ઇન્કમ બતાવવું પડે મિનિસ્ટર ઓફ રિલિજનની કોઈ ઇન્કમ રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ જનરલી એકલી કોઈ હાઈ નહીં મળે મિનિસ્ટર ઓફ રિલિજનની રફલી અબાઉટ આઈ થિંક એકલી હાઈ નહીં મળે જે ટીચિંગનું જે જોબ છે ને એમાં સ્પેસિફિક રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ્સ હોય કે એ લોકોની અર્નિંગ આટલી હોવું જોઈએ ઇટ કુડ બી અબાઉટ £25,000 એવું
ઓકે વર્ષની હોવી જોઈએ એટલે
પણ પોટેન્શિયલ છે અગર કોઈ હોય ઇમામત કરવું હોય યા તો આટલે ભરાવા હોય ને મસ્જિદ યા મદ્રેસા એ લોકો એને સપોર્ટ કરવા તૈયાર છે ને એવનની જરૂરત છે તો દેર ઇઝ અ પોટેન્શિયલ બોલાવાય મોલસાબ લોકોને ઇમામત કરવા હારું યા ભરવા હારું હમણાં બહુ ઓછા આવતા છે ઇન્ડિયા પાકિસ્તાન બાંગ્લાદેશથી પણ ઇટ ઇઝ એબ્સોલ્યુટલી પોસિબલ બોલાવી શકે
100%.
જઝાકલ્લાહ તમારો કોલ મારો જઝાકલ્લાહ થેન્ક યુ વિલ ટેક our next call hello I think that call's been dropped. Okay, so just we had a number of callers. Just on the last call, obviously a caller was speaking in Gujarati. Just to recap on that it is possible for somebody who is an imam, wants to come and lead prayers in a mosque here on a permanent basis, or they want to come and teach at a madrasa in the United Kingdom. Absolutely possible for them to come to the United Kingdom on what used to be called the work permit. Now it's known as either Tier 2 Minister of Religion or it's known as Tier 2 General. But it's possible under both those categories for an imam, a Minister of Religion, to come to the United Kingdom and work and lead prayers and preach from a masjid, or come and work in a madrasa as an Arabic teacher or a teacher of hadith, etc. It's absolutely possible for them to do it in a madrasa as well. What is required is for that mosque, for that madrasa to be registered with the Home Office. So there's a whole process that you need to go through. it's complicated, but it's achievable. If our masjid or our mosque, madrasa, is registered with the Home Office, then it's perfectly possible for them to sponsor a minister of religion, an imam, or an Arabic teacher to come to the UK and teach. So it's absolutely possible to do that. This is something that used to happen quite frequently if you go back about 10-15 years back. It did become less common because of some of the more stringent requirements that were introduced. We'll look at that after we come back from our short break.